Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. Now, today I'm joined by the beautiful Taylor Norman. Taylor, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I am doing very well. It is so good to have you back here again. For those of you that may not have seen it, we did work together for my first horror movie episode, and if you missed it, you might want to go check that out. That link is down in the description. So, how have things been since the last time we hung out, Taylor?
Oh, things have been good. I've been busy. I've been working. I've had like several projects that I've been working on and a few projects that have come out now.
Right. And we are going to talk about one of those today. So, obviously, growing up, big fan of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You were a part of The Chase, which is a fan film. You star as the main actress in this movie. And I got to be honest with you guys, I've been trying so hard not to watch this because it is available on YouTube and the link is in the description, but I have diarrhea of the mouth and I did not want to ruin anything. It's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre short film. You filmed, you said it was incredibly fun, especially the gory ending, which I don't want to get into right now. But when did you guys film?
So we filmed 3 years ago. And it came out 2 years ago.
Mhm.
So the process took about like a year, but we were also fighting with like weather and stuff like that, like being able to shoot during. I think we shot some in the summer and some in the winter. Um, and so that made it kind of difficult to kind of, capture the same kind of look in the short film, winter versus summer. And
Sure.
on top of that, like the gory scene at the end, it was very freezing during that scene. So just keep that in mind whenever you go in to watch it.
Well, and like I said, guys, you don't have to go far to watch it because I do have the link for The Chase down in the description as well. So, spoiler free, what can you tell us a little bit about the synopsis of the film?
So really, it's basically, I mean, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, it's just a bunch of us. We got together that love the franchise, and specifically Justin Sines, the one that he's the producer, the writer, and everything like that. He was phenomenal. He's done several short films of, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and this one is basically just revolving around the chase, like
Okay.
the action part of a horror film is really what this is centered around.
See, and a lot of us, that's what we live for in horror is the chase, the anxiety. And Leatherface has been known to do himself some chasing in his time. So, I love fan films because you're not doing this for money. You're doing this for the love of the genre, the love of the franchise that you're working with. And now you're in a movie that has officially put you in the life of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What's it feel like for you to be a part of that world now?
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, I thought about this since I was a little girl. I've always wanted to be in a horror film, was always on one of my bucket lists. Like, I just
Mhm.
love horror. I love everything about horror, and especially the gory scenes. Those always intrigued me. And so since I was little, I was like, what I would give to just see what it's like to be in one of those scenes. And
Yeah.
then doing that within the Texas Chainsaw franchise, it's so cool to think about.
And again, this is one of a lot of people, this is on their Mount Rushmore of horror villains. A lot of people that I talk to, especially, it's Jason, Freddy, Leatherface, and then whoever at the end, whether it be Chucky or Ghostface. That really has been one of the staples in that, in the Mount Rushmore of horror villains over time. So, being a part of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise now, even though it's a fan film, you're still in that world. What is your favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre film?
I would say it would have to be the 2003 version. I would say that because that was the version I grew up on.
Mhm.
Um, and when I first saw that film, of course they came out with saying, it's based off a true story and blah, blah, blah,
Sure.
blah. And so in my head, when I'm younger and I'm watching this, I'm like, oh my gosh, this actually happened. Like, mind blown. And, you come to find out later that, it's bits and pieces of different serial killers matched
Right.
in one.
Inspired by true events there, Texas Chainsaw guys.
Yeah.
So when you're going into this film, you're like I said, playing the final girl in this movie. Did you take inspiration from any of the other Texas Chainsaw films?
I did. Specifically the 2003 version. I loved the acting in it. I loved the just how they did the film, the 2003 film. I know it's not
Hmm.
a lot of people's favorites, but I think it's just because, I was like born and raised on that one, that's just my favorite, and I liked everything about it.
Well, and I think that it's universally accepted as one of the best remakes of all time.
Mhm.
Um, I know a lot of people when it comes to talking about remakes, Texas Chainsaw is always up there towards the very top of how much that movie means to them and how much service they did to the first film as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
agree. There's so many different. I'm trying to think of how many different Texas Chainsaw Massacres there are. There's like eight,
I think there's 11 now,
11 now.
10 or 11.
Yeah. Um, I don't think I've seen the most recent one. That's the only one I haven't seen.
Mhm. I
Um,
think I think it's definitely worth a watch. I think some of the kills in it are really good.
really?
I mean, there's a lot that's copy and paste. And they did Sally Hardesty so wrong in that movie, but there's a lot of really good moments throughout that movie.
Okay. I'll definitely have to give that one a watch. I was gonna try to watch that before our podcast tonight, but I just never had time to sit down and watch it. But I will
No.
definitely, that's on my watch list.
Yeah, and like I said, it's one of those movies that is it gonna win awards? No, but is it a fine just sit down, shut your brain off and watch a movie? Yes. It's a gory movie with cool kills, and that's what I want when I watch a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. So, we know what your favorite film in the franchise is. Do you have a least favorite film in this franchise of the ones that you've seen?
I would probably say I might get a lot of heat for this. Don't come after me, but the very first one that I know, only because it's just some of the acting in it, it was just like kind of hard for me to relate to. Um, and I like the more, I guess, modern day ones, but I can't. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre wouldn't be here without the OG.
Right.
So, I mean, that's why I'm kind of like, don't come at me for like hating the first one. But
I know a lot of people always talk about the first one and how iconic it is, and I agree. I think it's iconic. And Ashley and I will argue to the end of time. She hates Franklin. She can't stand Franklin. It's just not her thing. I think he's funny. I think he's one of those people that just crack me up. But if you got the chance to be in any horror movie franchise in a studio film, you get your choice of horror movie franchise, Taylor. What film are you going to choose? Or what franchise, should I say, would you choose to be a part of?
which franchise? Now, so this is kind of a tricky question. Is it like because I'm going to survive this franchise or because I think it's the coolest franchise?
Yeah, just because it's the one that you would just want to be a part of. To say that, your name is forever etched in history as a part of this franchise.
Scream.
Scream?
Hmm.
Yes. I think that that would be a consensus pick. I'm going with Child's Play myself. I want Chucky to kill the shit out of me. Like I want Chucky to eviscerate me. Like just do the worst you can to me, man. Like that's my favorite franchise of all time. Now, when you guys were filming this, like you said, you filmed some parts in the summer, some parts in the winter. Now, when you're doing that, I'm sure continuity is very hard to maintain. How are you guys able to maintain the continuity of your looks alone throughout the seasons?
It was just staying on top of, my hair and, my weight and, everybody else. I mean, it was easier for Casey who plays Leatherface because,
Hmm.
he's
Sure.
he's already covered up. But, I just stayed on top of my hair to make sure it was like the same length, same color tone. And then also that just Justin's um Justin Signs, his just ability to mesh everything together and make it look like it is within the same, day, was just absolutely phenomenal. Like, I don't know how he pulled that off, but I will say a lot of it does take place. I mean, there's two different, I mean, we are outside and then we are inside of this abandoned house. So the
Hmm.
abandoned house, like, I mean, we were able to get away with that easily. Um,
Sure.
but as far as like the weather went, like I know we did film a couple times. I was trying to remember if it was like raining and we had to like wait for the next day to film because we couldn't have that, the continuity and stuff like that. But Justin, the producer, did a really good job on tying everything together. And he really pulled
See,
it off.
and that to me, when I heard about that, I think that would be the hardest thing is trying to pull off the continuity of between seasons. Like you said, with hair and God forbid you got a cut or God forbid, you know what I mean? Like there's just so many different things that could happen to mess with the continuity in between time. And um, we've talked about, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre short film, the chase that you're in. Do you have anything else coming up down the pipeline that you can talk? I know NDAs exist and there's things you can't talk about, but do you have anything coming up that you can tell us about that you're going to be a part of?
So, one of my first full length movie just premiered this past August. It's called Dead Community Guild. And it's actually starring Eric Roberts.
Nice.
I even have a little poster here of it. I don't know if you can see that,
Yeah.
but that came out, yeah, last year. And we did like a full movie theater premiere, and it was a great turnout. And so now it's just circulating through the festivals right now before it's going to release on streaming.
Okay. Well, and the best way for you guys to keep up on when that's going to be released on streaming is to follow Taylor on social media. And I have all of her links down in the description as well. So make sure that you're doing that. So, we've talked about a franchise that you'd like to be a part of. Obviously, we've talked about how much the Texas Chainsaw Massacre means to you. But here for a second, Taylor, my little buddy Ghostface is here, and he has a question for you. What's your favorite scary movie, Taylor? What is your favorite horror movie of all time?
I would say my favorite horror movie of all time would probably be The Ring. Um, because it scared the ever living shit out of me as a kid.
Yeah,
And I haven't found a movie that has been able to scare me like that since The Ring. I mean,
right.
nothing's really come out since then that I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm scared to go to bed, or like, what if I have nightmares about this? I mean,
Hmm.
Ring was the one that ultimately destroyed me on having nightmares, and it just, it gave me that good scare factor. So I would have to say The Ring is definitely my favorite period movie.
One of the scariest PG-13 horror movies of all time. I think people often forget that that movie's PG-13 because of how absolutely terrifying it is. And it doesn't have a bunch of blood, it doesn't have a bunch of guts, a bunch of fucking, a bunch of, it's just a straight up, how can I scare the shit out of you horror movie. And
Mhm.
it brings that anxiety, it brings that dread, it does all these amazing things, but man, I'm telling you, like that movie still to this day, I put in my top three scariest PG-13 horror movies of all time easily.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, I'll sit there. All my friends know. I'm one of those people that'll sit there at 2 a.m. in the morning with all the lights off, watching a horror movie, just giggling, and they're like, "What is
Hmm.
wrong with you?" But the only movie I can't do that with is The Ring. I will not watch that by myself. I will not watch it in the dark.
Oh, I get it. Like I said, this is one of those movies, and I've never been a fan of the sequel or the eventual requel that they did for that movie. I think that that should have been a one and done film. I
Yeah.
think that there was no reason to try to turn that into a franchise. I know what Ringu did, and good for Ringu. I'm glad that Ringu was able to make the leaps and bounds that it did. The Ring was not.
Yeah.
And so it's a bummer. I really do wish that we could have gotten just that one film and just, or, I've heard rumors of them doing another sequel now. Maybe they can recapture something, but I just don't think it's the same in a digital age as it was as a VHS tape.
Right.
Like, I don't think it has that same impact now having a digital world as it did with the analog videotape. Like, I think that was just absolutely amazing.
Hmm.
One of the
Yeah.
greatest twists of all time, too, thinking that they got to free Samara and then you find out that that was, she never sleeps, Rachel. You weren't supposed to let her out. Like that was another moment where you're just like, damn, like we forget how great the twist in that movie was.
You're like, oh gosh, it's never gonna end now.
Right. And Taylor, like I said, I do want to thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me, talking about the chase and talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre and what horror means to you. And I want to remind everybody, not only do I have Taylor's social media links in the description, which you should be following to keep up with her, I also have the chase down there. So please make sure you're going and checking that out, as well as our episode of My First Horror Movie. So you can really get a deep dive into who Taylor is as a horror fan. Taylor, please don't go anywhere, love. I got a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
Everybody else, as always, keep talking horror, stay what you are, and we'll see you guys soon.